Who knows?
A typical day in the life of Grams. I'll tell you that much. Alright, are we going to see anything really out of the ordinary here is the question. So, at the moment, we've got Hanzo on board. Hanzo, is he even out of the ordinary anymore on Kings Row?
I don't really think so. I think obviously a lot of teams just haven't been seeing a lot of it because they're very used to the typical engaged style where you don't have that Hanzo in the backline. But with the Hanzo buffs and even I think a little bit before, I think honestly Hanzo was super strong on this first one because he has the range. McCree with those ranged nerfs, temporary ranged nerfs where he's not super effective at super long ranges, and obviously the fact that Widow's no longer in the meta, you have that ability to punish using that distance and scattershotting on the site. If you get a random headshot, I think you almost instantaneously take the point. So definitely really good to look at.
Yeah, and right now on the defense, it does not look like anything super out of the ordinary, though you don't necessarily always see a McCree here, but it's going to be for the team of WIP. Sen is going to play McCree. Blase, great name, is going to be on Reaper. Rob 420 on Zenyatta. Eyepatch on Zarya. Lego Math will play Lucio. JCB on the Reinhardt. What do you see here on the offense?
Yeah, on the side of the offense right now, we have Bamboo on McCree, Bibal on his Winston, Hun on the Hanzo, Dungeon on the Genji still, and Ditzy on the Zenyatta, and Evermore on the Zarya. So not that much change, but it's all about if Hun still stays as the Hanzo on the point.
Alright, so right now just kind of a back and forth here, but they do switch off the Hanzo. However, there is still a Genji in play somewhere. That is neither here nor there, as I kind of want to watch Bibble on his Winston. Winston has been just kind of a big boon to these teams lately. A giant jump in over the top, puts them all back in the corner, softens them up, looking for more as the flashbang goes down onto the Reaper. Is he able to clean that up? He's back into the sky, trying to clean up the Reaper, which is his biggest threat on the ground. Not able to do so, but he does evade that Reinhardt. They are cleaning up all of the poke damage he's getting on. He can just completely rearrange that battlefield. That is Winston winning a point for Kong right off the bat.
Yeah, and that cohesion with Donjin on the Genji, immediately jumping in afterwards to utilize the space that the Winston creates with his shield, and the fact that, hey, dash resets are a huge thing, but I think most importantly all of all was Ditzy taking down Rob 420 so early on in that fight. Without heals and without additional damage, you just kind of lose that fight at the end of the day.
Yeah, a lot of poke there. I always mention that a Winston going it alone is a dead Winston, but they have followed it up with the support from the Zarya, from the DPS. That DPS being Dongjun here, as he already has his Dragon Blade up. He's been a much more aggressive Genji than we saw earlier today, so he's been getting so much poke damage in. Are they going to try to push them out here? This is a very aggressive defense trying to get some situations going on here, but here comes the Dragon Blade. He is slicing, dicing. There goes down one. JCB. That is two. Lego Math. Dash resets going crazy. Bibble is cleaning up everything that he leaves in his wake. That is 5 kills to 0. Make that 6 team horn kill.
Honestly, I feel like Donjin always seems to be a little further out in front of his teammates, and honestly, I feel like that's me baiting the enemy team coming in. You might be thinking, hey, if we catch this, Genji out of position, we win the game instantaneously, but Donjin is not afraid to dash back into safety and use the fact that the Winston can create that, that little bit of space and dodge in to capitalize on that engagement. So expect to see that a little more. Donjin trying to just build up, trying to poke, build up some ultimate things, but Sen gets that Deadeye straight into it. Sen has nothing. He's done.
Yeah, ult's coming out from both sides. Another Dragon Blade actually coming out from Jun here as he tries to get the backline. Takes down Rob 420 with a kill, but he's so far away from his team. Is he got enough for the cleanup on the cart? It is Reinhardt, Zarya, and a Reaper there. Can he get the damage done that he needs? He gets one. There goes the Reinhardt. Can he solo this? He gets a nice dash through the Reaper. Too much, though, as he's ghost busted down, but that cart remains to be pushing as he bought a lot of time on the distraction. His tanks are back there to reinforce. It is tank v tank 3v3 happening right now. Bamboo changes those odds in their favor as it's 3v2. He takes down Eyepatch, and now it is a melee on the cart, but they continue to reinforce here. Lucio's going to come in as well. Do they want to fight this back on the defense? A lot of poke coming in. Evermore in great position. He is bullying them out of there completely safely. They're going to grab that point.
Yeah, honestly, I'm a little surprised that the defense didn't back off earlier. Just main part was, Sen got caught out very late in the fight. He's got, staggered, and all of a sudden they can't take that advantage. But more important, that Deadeye's coming out, zoning out and forcing them out. But the great loop at the end of the day forces that shield down and gets Lego Map down with that Deadeye. That Gravity Monster is coming in, but there's nothing that's happening there except for JCB, who goes in with that quad kill. And man, I should just learn to wait until he does something on that one before making any judgments.
Well, JCB is going to get the credit for that, and a Reinhardt hammer swinging through that is always going to get the credit, but it was a lot there on iPatch, who was hiding in the corner, mostly to bail out of the high noon, but then noticed that they were just pushing in, had no idea where he was, walked in on him, got like a 3-foot graviton onto him, grabbed everyone, and really nice cleanup graviton, countering him from the other side right now. Sound Barrier is going to try to negate most of this, but can Dejun get what he wants done? He goes down as soon as I try to bring the camera onto him, so that is Caster Curse 101. Defense pushing back now as they got the better half of that, but this is kind of the Korean style of disengage. We lost Dongjun, that's what we wanted in that push, we didn't get it back out. No one else has to die.
Yeah, and right now, I think they're only waiting for their ultimates right now. I think they're very close to a lot of their ultimates right now. Dongjun only needs to do is just kind of stay alive, create some more room, and, climb on top exactly what he needs to do right now. And great charging right now. Kills Sen immediately off the bat. Blase does take the trade onto Bibble, but right now, this is just a lot of fight going on.
Blase almost had play of the game there, got flashbanged out of it immediately. The Graviton comes in very late from the offense, gets nothing done. There's very little follow-up. Bamboo is in the back lines trying to get here. They're going in anyway. That's as it forces people in onto the Sound Barrier. Here comes the Transcendence, so their fighting forces effectively have there. Blase tries to come in again with the Death Blossom. He gets flashbacked again. What a tough day to be Reyes as they continue it up. What was a fight that did not look in their favor. They end up turning around by busting out some support ults, knowing they had the advantage. Dongjun goes down by himself late there. He's going to be up to the tanks here to try to pressure out. iPatch trying to get on the point, trying to Zarya people down. He's going to push them away a little bit. The tank comes in. That is Bibble going down on his Reinhardt, switched off that Winston. He takes on his opposing number. It is 6v4, a desperation. Sound Barrier comes out trying to keep this defense alive, but I think it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, definitely not. Only one left. Lego Matt better dance as much as he can, but they push that point into the end. But honestly, you capitalized exactly what I wanted to point out there. Dongjun on that Genji was able to stay alive in the backline for so long, and that was so smart on the Lucio. This is how good the communication must be. Is that I didn't know where Dongjun was. I didn't know where the Genji was. But the fact is that their Lucio was so in tune with the fact is, okay, you know what? Our Genji's in their backline. If I ultimate right now, I can cover him with the with the Sound Barrier, and you can go and clean up so much of that fight. So he's able to get into the backlines, flank, and all of a sudden change that fight right around. And honestly, that started with the cognizant decision. Hey, I'm going to take high ground. I'm not going to jump into the fight even when the rest of my team engages. I'm going to wait, bide my time, and at the end of the day, I'm going to pounce.
I actually it's strange for me, but I feel bad for the Reaper. Blase had 2 times where he tried to jump in, and I've noticed that the last couple weeks I've mentioned it on stream that it's a hard life being a Reaper nowadays to get those giant Death Blossoms that you used to. Everyone's looking for it. There's counters pretty hard to it. You really have to get the full support, like a Sound Barrier and a Zarya shield to even think about Death Blossoming, because teams are just ready for it. They know these maps. They know the terrain like the back of their hands by now. There was twice he went in, was in great position to at least get a ton of damage, if not a few kills, flashbanged each and every time. So starting to feel bad, but he can just go listen to Linkin Park and Slipknot in his room and just let the world go away. Both teams going to be running a Reaper this time. Offense is running something that looks, is pretty standard-ish, except for this Mei. That's how bad of a Reaper game Blase had. He is done with Reaper, going to the polar opposite. See what I did there with Mei. Yeah, we've seen a lot of Mei on every side of every map here, but offensive on Kings Row, what do you think?
Honestly, I don't think it's too bad. I do think that, intentionally what you can do is divide off, the DPS from your tank line when you approach the point and basically buy yourself so much more time. And more importantly, it does take out a few options in terms of where the defense can kite back.
Well, never mind. That was all extremely insightful. But yeah, you generally see it on the defense here just to completely deny them. But not the case here. Bibble is back on his Winston, so we're going to try to take a look at that to see where he wants to pounce from on a defensive Winston here. He's actually hiding in the hotel. This is really cool. He gets behind him right now. He's subbing off. They did not see the monkey coming. Dejon takes down one as well. Babel softening everyone up. They had no idea he was up there.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta check your corners. What can I say? This is just another example of why you should do this. And it looks, it's something that's very, very simple thing where you go into the flank. But I think so many players are so used to the person coming from behind is a DPS dealer. It's like a Genji. It's a Tracer. So they're basically the logic is, well, we can just DPS them down. If we kill the rest of their team, they don't have enough damage to take it. But when it's a tank line and it's happening again, and they're bringing 2 people in the back line this time.
Yeah, so he's going to roll in pretty much unopposed. Now the jump in, but drops the shield, making a lot of space for his team yet again. He's going to jump up top and kind of distract them a little bit, but Sen did kill De Jong there, so that is 1 kill for them. Bamboo takes it back. I'm thinking of Winston, so that's just my Jungle Book reference there. Sen and Blase do push this back, though, as the DPS is going to town. Sen with 5 kills. I think that's 4 total for that fight. Sen going absolutely nuts on his McCree. We're going to watch him through this next fight because apparently we missed it. We did not miss his awesome spray there. Well done, sir. You deserve it. So Sen doing really well here. He grabs that first point. They're going to try to come in and aggress this a little bit. Nah, they're going to back up. They just wanted to get some poke. I do not think they're going to be pushing in. But if they do, Evermore is going to be the one to do it, as he might get them in a giant graviton. If they feel they have an advantage, they will go fight this.
Yeah, and on the side of defense right now, they are in a very good situation with a lot of great ultimates. Now, Blaze does... the offense, Blaze does have, his ultimate, does have his, his Death Blossom, and while, yes, it's a Reaper, it's going to be hard to position, he can basically force out and counter engage, punish the fact they're going to engage right now. Great sound barrier right now to mitigate so much of the upfront damage. Great stun on the Reinhardt, gets taken immediately down by Blaze, who just goes in, and that's a perfect example of what you need to do on Reaper. Hey, you don't need to position yourself in the middle of the enemy team, that they're just going to come to you.
The redemption tour for Blase after how brutal it was for his defensive Reaper, offense Reaper making an appearance there. So eye patch on his Zarya is going to be pushing really far forward. They will be able to fight this out on the next point. Now we have Bible off of his Winston onto the Reinhardt instead. They have the sound barrier, but they don't engage off of it, which is generally a mistake. You generally want 2 kills off of it. So the Earth Shatter comes out from Bush Eyes, but this is definitely WIP getting the better half of this right now. They get 4 kills. That is going to be next point. They're in great position to probably make a faster time here.
Yeah, and honestly, KongDoo did seem like they were a little indecisive. I think they were mainly looking to, hey, pop the sound barrier, try to engage, or maybe try to bait something out, but when they couldn't get anything out of the matter, maybe they realized, hey, it's better to stand back. But then they engaged again afterwards, right into, a great Earth Shatter on that end, and was immediately able to cancel out that engagement. But they do have a lot of tools right now. They have a nice, Earth Shatter, a nice Death Blossom, and of course, that Transcendence to mitigate so much of the upfront, damage. And oh man, Dungeon right in place that Blase goes to the background with that Death Blossom, takes out. Maybe only 1 kill, but a lot of damage on that side. Bibble does come back and is able to, charge in and put JCB out of position. And that's a great hold from the defense right now. But they did burn a lot of their ultimates, which means, they might not have a lot of tools for the next fight.
Well, they are going to be able to zone out, at least on defense, as Bamboo does have his... High Noon up. Brain is breaking for now, but I do want to take a look to see if Blase can get some more work done. It's decent for Reaper if he can get above without being noticed. He does not need a Death Blossom so far. Here comes that Deadeye comes out from Bamboo, able to take down one. Blase is going to try to be going over up top. I think he's being followed, though. They know he's up there. He gets Zarya'd down immediately. He heard footsteps. You can see his mouse flick there as he knew he was being hunted. Sen in the corner gets knocked up and destroyed. JCB's got to be careful. He comes charging out of spawn and he has to put his shield up and do the slow walk of shame and retreat. They're holding very far forward now. Is Evermore is kind of something he did on all those King of the Hill maps as well. He's got a nice charge in. He's getting so much poke, and he's going to have Graviton up for this next fight, and what looked to be like a blazing fast time. Now they need to win on the next push just to tie it up.
That great Graviton surge gets mitigated enough by that Transcendence to not do so much damage. Sen does go down, but Sen does take Bamboo out, which is able to do a great Earth Shatter, pulling down so much of that that initial DPS damage.
Oh, they're following up now. Here comes Blase right through the shield, takes down 2. Nice Death Blossom there. His offensive Reaper has been so much stronger than his defensive Reaper. Right now, he's going to get to the Reaper perch, as it were. Evermore doing his best in the back lines to try to take down his counter number. He does so. So now on the back foot, they do have some ultimates to work with on the defense, though. It's going to be Earth Shatter up for Bibble here, so he's got that going. The Graviton did come out, not much. Bamboo looking forward to try to get that Deadeye going, but does not really find purchase there. Bibble's going to wait for them. He knows that JCB could be dropped by shield, but there comes the giant Earth Shatter goes, and there's the Death Blossom to follow through with it. That is a full team wipe. Sorry guys about Skype. I'm fixing that next break, I promise.
Oh man, I'm going to highlight something, and this is going to illustrate how good their team fighting is. That Earth Shatter happened before Dungeon even started his ult. The moment he started jumping down, that Earth Shatter went there, and that means that they planned it out beforehand, and that's so cool in terms of being so precise and being so cohesive with their thing. But hey, that's fine with them on the side of the offense right now. They have a lot of tools right now. They do have a Graviton Surge, they do have a Transcendence, and they do have an Earth Shatter, which is maybe 2 Fire Strikes away right now. So if they can keep this up and they can, you know, mitigate some initial damage, great Graviton Surge catches out so many threats right now. Bamboo is still alive, and now he's no longer alive. He gets taken out by Lego Math, and that Transcendence is able to continue that push. They're isolating out all the backline threats, and this is kind of like where that Korean cohesion comes apart when they get engaged on and are forced to fight different battles. I mean, great push from the offense. That's exactly what they needed to do.
It's kind of an engagement that you just don't see coming based on the simplicity of it, right? iPad just walked right into there and shot his Graviton at the ground. It was just something that is kind of a little bit strange. We'll see if Bibble can bring him back. His tank play has been great. He is on this Reinhardt, though he's discorded. That Earth Shatter comes down, but it is into a sound barrier. TV is going to charge through, take down his counter number, but is Blase again on the cart in the backline, taking down 3. The Reaper Redemption Tour continues. They are going to finish this map, but about a minute and 20 seconds later.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a Strim Life song, I think, based off of Blase's performance this game. But, you know, then day and night differences between what he was able to present on offense and what he was able to present on defense. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that that Reaper and his, you know, clutch ultimates were able to stop a lot of the initial aggression. I think that's like, you know, unfortunately, that's where KongDoo doesn't look like they feel super comfortable about it. It's like when you stop their engagements and force them to fight really disjointed fights and, you know, don't let them take advantage of you on defense by, you know, picking off your backline threats, having that separation, you know. I think they kind of fall apart at that end. But then again, you know, they need to do this one more time. I think they can. There's a lot that they've learned from both sides on the last point. I think there's a lot they're going to take away from it. You know, I would not be surprised if I saw Don Jr. going for the big flanks. But then again, you know, they've done this before. Hopefully the side of, you know, the side of WIP is able to, you know, predict the fact, hey, this is what they did last time. They flanked us from the behind that last time. They're going to do it again this time. Let's try to check our corners. Let's try to, you know, hey, maybe push into, you know, the Meridian, right? Try to push into the hotel, punish them out that way, and then try to capitalize on what they can get from that.
Yeah, we saw Luxury Watch in a position where they had to push the cart first to last, I believe it was on this map, and no one thought they would do it with the time that they had, and they did. So that was insane. Only a minute 25 on the clock for WIP here. We'll see what they can get done, but the man of the hour has been Blase. We'll see what he wants to do on his initial rollout here, but I think they'd be happy just with the first point cap. Only gonna have 2 cracks in it.
Yeah, and they don't see the back point, but they honestly, that weird flank actually gets countered by the fact they ran into that building because, you know, Winston doesn't have a super accurate jump where he can jump in there and take advantage of it. But right now, they're getting pushed back, and that's fine by them. As long as they don't lose anyone in this fight, don't get any more staggered, I think they're fine where it is. But Rob just gets caught out by that wall, and that's super unfortunate. But inside the offense, you know, they recognize right now, hey, we don't have a lot of time right now. We have 1 minute. We need to group. If we try to charge in as 5, we're going to get punished for it.
Yeah, the first one didn't work because they got denied entry. Losing someone on your entry there, especially when your DPS really hurts, you know you're not going to have enough for the fight. So this is it. This is their last crack at first point if they want to continue this map.
And they're using that tunnel, but man, that's just not good when Bamboo takes out your support and Ditzy takes out your Sen and Bevel. Oh man, takes out Blase, and this is just going from worse to worse. And this is kind of like where the problem is. They didn't want to engage into the main front of the team, so they kept on trying to push through this building. And when you get caught in there, and you're the team that is the one that gets pincered, that's super hurtful. And honestly, that just ends up being like the thing that punishes them. 10 seconds left, 9 seconds left. It's just gonna be a race to get on the point of this one.
Well, it's gonna get Death Blossom by Dongshu, who was waiting there the entire time. There was nothing they could do about it. They had to go in, but it does make for a pretty interesting highlight there. What they were doing in the hotel a lot of the time too was really cool. They definitely have a plan when they're going to rotate through the hotel, because you saw that the DPS would go around one side and both tanks on the other side. So they just present a wall through the hotel that the other team has to slow down and try to break through, and on the back side, everyone's getting cleaned up by all the damage. So kind of a cool response to what a team wants to do when they're going through that hotel. All right. If Kong can take this point in 2 minutes and 45 seconds, they will take King's Row and move on in our last best of 1 series of the day.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to see what they pull out here. But at the same time, right now, on the side of defense, their prerogative is to, you know, kind of stop this right now. They're put on the clock right now. They were not able to capture this first point, meaning that, you know, if they get cleaned up in this first fight, all of a sudden they have very little chance to win. They don't have that many options, and the offense, I think they recognize that's exactly the case. If Ditzy stays on this honor, they might just be going for the single push victory there. It might not even be allowing the defense to get more time on that clock, but it's all about Blase. We've been highlighting him so much, but as much as Blase, it's a lot about Sen as well. Sen has,
Just
you know,
the scratch,
has had
he'll
some
be
like
fine.
some great kills, some great performances, but he hasn't been as standout as he has needed to, and that's important for DPS. You know, you need 2 DPS dealers, and the opponent also has 2 DPS dealers in play, right? So he needs to kind of show up at this last point.
Yeah, Ditzy does switch off of that Ana, unfortunately, even though the golden Ana sniper rifle. So they're going to shoot down a Sonic Arrow, at least to get vision. Sonic and Scatter combo come in. We're going to see what Bibble has again on his engagement. I think a lot of it is going to be up to both Bibble and Dongjun here. So we're going to be watching Winston and see if they have the follow-up with the Genji. They're kind of just posturing right now, maybe just waiting for some vision. Someone's got to be on a call right now. He does jump in. He's getting that back line. He's probably going to drop the shield momentarily to kind of create some space. He does. Blase comes to the back line though and denies that. Although he just is able to fly through the hotel doing so much chip damage. Ever more on the cleanup. That should be it.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, let me highlight this one point before the inherently capture. This is how cohesive KongDoo is right now. If you watch the rotation like I am from third person view, maybe you didn't, but you know, hey, if you can, you'll get maybe look at specific this thing. But the thing is, they rotated their supports around. So when the defense went through the hotel to try to capitalize on that jump, because most teams what they do is that they jump their Winston, their Genji into the backline, and they leave their support line very exposed. So what happens typically is that you funnel back through that room and then you try to pick off whatever's remaining, knowing that hey, they probably haven't rotated well. But the fact is, Ditzy and Hyung rotated so well around the statue and were immediately behind their team. Sure, they were far, they weren't with their team at that very moment, but their main goal was to stay alive and to buy time, because the truth of the matter is the engagement bought them so much room for that, and at the end of the day they were just able to convert, and that's just huge.
We didn't catch that in the initial game where Dongjun did end up falling off the edge, but if you're going to fall off the edge and it shows up in your play of the game, at least you did something worthwhile beforehand. Alright, so that is it for our best of ones. Not even going to go back to caster screen. We're going to take a bit of a break as we set up our next matches. We might be following this team as we go forward. We might jump over to Tempo Storm. We'll see what FaZe is up to, but we're going to need a little bit of time to set that all up. Thanks for sticking with us here at the GosuGamers North American Weekly number 19. We'll be back shortly.